Tonight, the food supply chain is breaking. That's a quote. It's a warning from the chairman of Tyson Foods, one of the world's largest meat producers, after it and other companies have had to shut down numerous plants because of coronavirus outbreaks among workers. Also a warning from the company, quote, as pork, beef, and chicken plants are being forced to close, even for short periods of time, millions of pounds of meat will disappear from the supply chain. Out front now, the Republican governor of Arkansas, Asa Hutchinson. And Governor, I appreciate your time. Look, Tyson Foods is obviously based in your state, and you know more about this than probably any other governor in this country. When you hear millions of pounds of meat disappearing from the supply chain, how concerned are you?
Well, first of all, it's good to be with you, Erin, and the fact that the chairman of Tyson's Food felt necessary to communicate that to America indicates that they are in a critical industry, and that as plants in different parts of the country have had breakouts of COVID-19, that it is a concern if you have to shut down a plant even for a bit. We've been fortunate in Arkansas that we have over 60 processing plants, and they're all operational. They've worked hard to make sure that safety is paramount in those plants. And the most important ingredient is to give the employees confidence that they will be healthy going into that plant and they don't risk having an adverse contagion there in the processing plant. And so they're taking the necessary steps, but it illustrates that we have to be prepared in the event there's a positive case, that we sanitize, we clean, and we get back to processing, because our country cannot do without this supply of food, and it starts poultry, beef, pork, all of that is critical to the supply chain.
And look, you know, you talk about you haven't had to have Tyson close plants in your state. They, of course, have closed plants in other parts of the country, Iowa, Indiana, nearly 200 cases linked to just that one plant in Iowa, which was closed in Waterloo. Today, the chief medical officer in Indiana said 963 new cases in the state, a majority of which, he says, are related to an outbreak at the Tyson plant. So does that concern you that this is happening in other places and it is linked to these plants where, of course, the food processing processes, people are very close together, but it does indicate some pretty serious breakdowns in whether it be PPE or how this is being managed at the plant level?
Well, it does concern you, of course, and it concerns the plant operators, and that's why they're investing so much in safety precautions. We have been fortunate in Arkansas. We've had a breakout in one of our prison facilities, and so we can see how that virus infiltrates and expands so rapidly. You don't want that same thing in the close environment of a processing plant. The key thing is, once you get a positive case, that you go in there, do your contact tracing very quickly so that you can stop the spread and have that capacity. That's what we're building in Arkansas. Hopefully that will be sufficient. But also, we're really working to avoid that community spread. We've been somewhat successful here in this state, and we want to keep on that same path.
So the White House official today said the new testing guidelines, they want each state to have the ability to test 2% of their residents per month. We were just talking to one of the most prominent testing experts in the country, and he was just pointing out that adds up to taking 4 years to test everybody in this country. And he thinks it's woefully short of what is necessary. Are you comfortable reopening your state if you get anywhere close to that number, 2% of residents tested per month?
Well, we set our criteria, and we're looking at it for May 4th. Of course, we never shut down completely. We closed restaurants, bars, those type of personal contact businesses, but we've been open beyond that. We are looking at what we need to do May 4th and whether we can reopen some of those contact businesses. But we're going to be very careful about that. In terms of the testing, we've had a testing surge this last weekend. We're going to continue to build that base of testing in our state. And so I'm comfortable with where we are. We obviously want to continue to build the testing capability, but all of that revolves around the contact tracing so that we can find out where we have an outbreak and nip it and control it. And that takes that investment of resources, which we are doing, and we're comfortable with that right now.
All right, Governor Hutchinson, I appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good to be with you, Erin.
All right.